Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves, and we're going to be doing that with my deck of I am cards. This deck of cards is full of positive affirmations for the really awesome people in my life, and that is you. So, good morning. Good morning. Dan from Omaha again. Nice to see you, Dan. I'm glad that you have attended the call. Dennis is here. Waleed is here. Lauren, Grant, Janet, Frank, April, Tony, Shauna. It is good that you are all around. So thank you guys so much for being here. Let's say some nice things about you. Let's encourage ourselves and really take control of our internal narrative. The fact is that a lot of people have negative self-talk in their lives, myself among us. I know that this is something that I have historically struggled with quite a bit. Good morning there, Veda. It is good to see you here as well. So yeah, I've struggled with this a lot, which is one reason why I started to do these I am cards in the morning. I'm going to go through a card. I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. What I'd like for you to do is to say out loud, I am that affirmation. As we invoke these powerful words, I am, we define who we are to ourselves. And the fact is that our beliefs turn into our actions. So some of you are aware I actually just started a new position on Monday, and one of the things that I had to do was go through sexual harassment training, 3 modules of sexual harassment training, and one of the things that they really banged home in that sexual harassment training, and I know it's great to use banged as a metaphor for sexual harassment training, but one of the things that they really banged home was that the way that we think and our unconscious biases, those things are very powerful because those biases create behaviors, and they do create behaviors. I mean, I've said it for years, and now it's been codified in an actual corporate training video. But the way that we think defines the way that we act. So let's improve the way that we think by saying that today I am accomplished. I am accomplished. My achievements reflect persistent determination. So I am accomplished. My achievements reflect persistent determination. Are you accomplished? You are accomplished. Your achievements reflect persistent determination. Aw, you're very welcome there, Susan. I'm glad that that speech was useful to you. I'm going to write that down in the chat. My achievements reflect persistent determination. I am an accomplished person. You're accomplished too. I'm surrounded by accomplished people. And one of the cool things about the accomplished people that I'm surrounded by is that the accomplished people that surround me are humble about it. I will never forget how I was just kind of sitting in the hot tub with somebody that I had just met, and she was just kind of talking about how we were basically talking about job and career and whatnot, and she was just saying, oh yeah, I just kind of like work in the pharmaceutical industry, and later on I found out that she was a pharmaceutical company owner and an advisor to the FDA, and I'll never forget that just how humble and how that this person was about her incredible accomplishments. When I go to parties or something like that, and people want to brag about their accomplishments and all the stuff that they've done, and they'll put it right out there, all the various the accomplishments that they have, and yet the folks who surround me are humble about them, and I really prefer that second way of being. The folks that I know, my friends, are indeed very, very accomplished, but you wouldn't know about it because unless it comes up in conversation, you'd never you'd never really know, because we don't really talk about that, because I'm more interested in who you are as a person, and you are more interested in who I am as a person, not what we've done, but who we are. So our achievements reflect persistent determination. What does that really mean? Well, anything that we want to achieve, we first of all have to define that we want to achieve it, that's something that we desire to do. Here we are in life. We're all being grown-ups, and yet I don't know about you, but I still feel like a kid on the inside. I still feel like I'm about 14 years old on the inside, even though my body is about 40 at this point. But first, we can do anything, and that's, I think, one of the first challenges of adulthood, is to realize that we can do anything. We can't do everything, and so therefore we have to decide what's important. What is it that we'd like to achieve? What difference do we want to make in the world as we go through this world? So we are accomplished in those things. And in order for us to accomplish those things, we have to persist. We have to have determination, which means that we have to know what we want. And then we have to persist in that determination, which means that we have to work at it every day. I am as guilty as anybody of starting a project and being very passionate about that project, and then all of a sudden it just falls off my radar. And why is that? And it's I found that the things that I really do accomplish are the things that I work at slowly every day, not the things that I take massive effort toward for a very short period of time. It's the things that I work at for 5 minutes a day that move forward. And when I first started, I had about 30 of these cards, and I went through them. So about once a month, you'd be seeing a repeat. At this point, I have 192 of these cards. But it didn't go from a 30 to 192 overnight. It went from 30 to 192, like 5 a week. And that is what persistent determination looks like. So let's see what you guys have to say here. That is determination, baby. I am determined to make these, or to bring this message into the world, and that's why I'm at it every morning, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. Looks like April's over in Birmingham, Alabama. So we got Omaha, we got Alabama. I don't know if Grant is still over in the Alabama area, but we are always. It looks like we are pretty consistently spanning multiple states now. How cool that is. Let's see here. What do y'all have to say today? April says, I'm accomplished and blessed with many gifts. Up, Robert's in Florida. Yeah, I know, Frank. She'll be back soon enough, right? Let's see here. Yes, indeed we do. We all are. We are reflecting persistent determination. Janet says, feeling accomplished with the life she's created for herself, always appreciating 200+ pound weight loss, baby. Health journey strong. You're darn right, Jan. And you know what? Like, I've seen a lot of people in my life who lose weight, but they don't do it for the right reasons. And I think that you are a person who has lost the weight for the right reasons, because you have focused on health, not weight. It was never about a scale number for you. I know that you have, and yeah, I think you taught me the term non-scale victory. A lot of people don't like what they weigh and want to weigh a little bit less, but it's not really anything about the weight. It's always about fitness or suitability for a particular task. I know that there have been times in my life where I looked at the scale and said, you know what, it's time for me to stop eating so many candy bars and pizza, and so I did. But it's not ever about the number on the scale. It is about what you can do with your body. It is about your body being the shape of what you ask it to do. So your body is your adventure vehicle. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm very curious as to, like, what are some things that you guys have determined to do, and what are some achievements that you are proud of? That's what I'd like to know today. I'm actually going to start my wake up call with a question of the day. This is going to be something that I start integrating probably beginning next week. And I'd really love to know. Like, the question of the day is always going to sort of revolve around what the card is, and and really help us to understand, not just to say nice things about ourselves, but also to reinforce the nice things that we say about ourselves in order to really bring it into our consciousness on a regular basis. Yeah, you're right, Sylvia. We don't We don't celebrate ourselves enough. And I'll tell you what. So here's a story from me from a very long time ago. So I was born in November. And one of the peculiarities of being born in November was that when I started school, I was probably like 9 months ahead developmentally. I was about 9 months ahead of my peers. So I was one of the oldest kids in class. I started school in first grade. I was one of the oldest kids in class, and my parents had taught me, or had really disciplined me to be a reader and to learn things before I went to school. So when I went to school, I was one of the most educated kids in that class. And having a 9 month age advantage when you're in first grade is a really big deal developmentally. I mean, I could read a lot better. I mean, a lot better than my peers. A lot of my peers couldn't read at all, were just learning their letters, and I was reading chapter books when I was in first grade. And I remember that about 3 months into the school year, we got a new kid. Now, this being first grade, all of our names were just kind of like written by our teacher on our desk, probably also so that she could read them and remember what they were, but, also so that we knew where to sit. And this kid had a name. It was Barrett, Barrett. None of my fellow students had ever seen that name before. And so they called me over to sound it out, to read it, because I was the one who could. And so I went over there and I sounded it out, and I was like, "Oh, that's Barrett." And my co-students were happy that we were able to resolve the mystery. Well, the teacher sees what's happening. She comes over and she says, "What's going on here?" And I said, "Oh, well, I have I'm a good reader, and so I came over here to read to help the people read." And my teacher immediately just kind of like got that idea out of my head. And she's like, "Oh no, you should never say something nice about yourself. You should never do that. You should never brag about how good you are at reading, because that's like a put down to the other kids." And of course, I didn't mean it as a put down. The fact that I'm good at reading doesn't mean that the people around me aren't good at reading. It simply means that I had the skills at the time to accomplish that task. And but it really stuck with me, and I've remembered it my whole life, because that interaction gave me this false idea that I was not allowed, that I wasn't allowed to say good things about me, that when I recognized that I was better at somebody than something, that I was supposed to just shut up about that, and I wasn't allowed to celebrate my own accomplishments, which was complete bullshit. It was terrible programming from my first grade teacher. But we all receive this like social validation that when we celebrate ourselves, that it's bad, that it's bad to celebrate ourselves, and we do from an early age. If we want to get social acceptance, if we say that we're good at something, the people around us will feel threatened, particularly at a young age, and they're going to they're going to immediately deny that. And that's essentially what happened. I mean, during this like first grade interaction, my teacher was like, "Oh, you can't say things like that." And as soon as she left, all of my fellow students who had previously appreciated my ability to do this reading for them and to help them out with their schoolwork and whatnot immediately started chanting about how stupid I was. Well, of course, I wasn't stupid. They were just feeling insecure. And I can forgive first graders for feeling insecure. But it's a powerful thing, and it happens to a lot of us really early on in life, that if as soon as we start agreeing and we're like, "Oh yeah," as soon as we start saying self-deprecating humor, that's when everybody will laugh with us. That's when we get the social validation, and that's when we get this desire to be roasted instead of toasted in life. And that's just terrible programming, and we are all overcoming that. So like Frank says, also we have a severe deficiency of celebrating each other's accomplishments. And not here we don't. Over here we celebrate each other's accomplishments all the time, and that is our natural state. The fact that Frank is better at a lot of things than I am, and I love that. Each and every one of you have skills and abilities and talents and knowledge and wisdom and experience that is far in excess of anything that I will ever generate in my life. And I need that. I need that in my world, because having that allows me to gain from your perspective. I can't know everything. I can't know even close to everything. But but I can celebrate what I do know. I can celebrate how I am accomplished and know that my accomplishments take nothing away from yours, that my accomplishments and your accomplishments reflect persistent determination, and that each of us is valuable and important in our own ways. Yeah. Oh, I understand, Frank. Yeah, exactly. Society at large absolutely does that. Um, Janet raised an amazing daughter and raised herself. Yeah, don't we have to reparent ourselves? That is absolutely something that we have to do. We have to reparent ourselves because our parents, who we love and who love us, did the best that they knew how to do, but they don't. But they raised us for the world that they grew up in, and we're growing up in a totally different world. Janet says that she raised herself, released herself from toxic monogamy, evolved away from podunk small town and the mentality thereof, taught and loved on many sweet children and adults with special needs. Yeah, I know that, Jen. You actually did. You were a special needs teacher, and that it's always fun to watch the way that you interact with children because you just have the right words for them. Um, you know, and yeah, she says, found developed love for herself and choose to extend it to everyone. Love does win. You are accomplished. Kelly, you're accomplished too. It's great to see that you have made it over to the chat today. All right, so we are getting wrapped up for today. I do want to say thank you guys so much for being here and for just being here and supporting each other, loving on each other. You are an accomplished person, and this card is our reminder today that we can do anything that we want to do if we simply decide what it is and persist at it every single day. I will talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the Friday edition of the Wake Up Call, where we'll go through yet another card, and also we'll be reviewing the cards for the week, the 5 cards that we pulled this week. Until I meet you there, I just want to remind you that I love you, that I care about you, that you are an accomplished person, that you are an achiever, and that your achievements are world changing. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, aloha from paradise.